Aloha everybody, this is TJ. We're going to do some crocheting with me today. I am currently working on a project. It's a shawl with pockets. This is now the 5th one that I've made, and I'm showing you mid-project because I wanted to show you especially this one stitch. I'm going to insert a couple of pictures somewhere here in this video so that you can see what the shawl looks like. And I'm gonna show you them on my models, but I will cover their faces because, you know, I'm not trying to dox anybody. So this is the yarn I'm using for this project. This is a Super Saver Jumbo. It's 14 ounces. I like doing that so it's less skeins to buy. Mathematically it comes out to a little bit less than buying the 5-ounce or 7-ounce skeins. And for this particular project, it takes about 25 ounces to do. And I'll show you, as we're going, I'll show you the whole project. But we're going to start right here, right now. So that's the pull end. You can see the pull end. Let me show you the project. Like I said, it's a shawl that's going to have pockets. Here we go. This is just the first end of it. And what I'm really enjoying is this particular stitch. And what this is, this particular stitch, it's 2 double crochets, but one of the double crochets is on its side to make that little, in Hawaiian we call it puka, to make the pukas. So I'm doing this row of double crochets, and then I do a half double crochet row in between. And I'm going to show you how I make the 2 double crochets. That's where we're going to start today. So you can crochet along with me. All right. All right, so I'm going to turn the row. If you know, you know, but let me explain. I'm at the end of one row. On crochet, you're working right to left. So this is the end of the row, and I'm going to turn. But before I turn, I got to do 2 chains. All right? And the reason I'm doing 2 chains is because I'm going to be doing double crochets. If I were doing a half double crochet or a single crochet turn, I would just do 1 chain. Okay. So there we are, and we're going to turn. This is the project. I like to get everything situated. There we go. And then this is just me, okay? This is how I do stuff. I'm not saying you do it this way, and if you got a better way to do it, you can share it in the comments. Thank you. Okay. So I've turned it. I'm looking at my work. We're going to do 2 double crochets. So here's how I do this, okay? Double crochet means you wrap yarn around your needle, and I'm looking for this first puka, the top of the other stitch, putting it through the whole thing. Okay. Now I've got 3 loops, 2 loops, 1 loop. The reason, and let me show you again. So you loop, and you go in and grab some more yarn. You've made 3 loops. Now you're going to pull yarn through 2 of the loops, and now you still have 2 loops. Pull it through 2 more, that's a double crochet. And I'm going to make a second one. And this is this particular pattern, okay? And then a single crochet, a chain, not a single crochet, sorry, it's a chain. Now, and I'm going to skip a stitch, and I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. It's a straight up double crochet, like that. Now here's how this stitch goes to make that puka, which I really appreciate. I like how it works out. So you're going to act like you're going to do a double crochet, but you're going this way at the top of it. So it's like a sideways double crochet. So now there's 3 loops. There you go, 3 loops. And pull through 2. And pull through 2. There you go. See? And it makes that little, it looks like an upside down L. And I'm going to skip a crochet, and I'm going to go double crochet into the next one. A straight up double crochet, and then we're going to do a sideways double crochet. It's laying on its side. There we go. Through 2 and through 2. And we're just going to work the row like that. So the story behind this shawl, back in the fall, before, around Thanksgiving time, one of my sisters, I've got 3, one of my sisters, shout out to my sisters, got in touch with me. Actually, it was, hey TJ, can you crochet this shawl for me? And she sent me a picture. And I was like, well, do you have the pattern? And she says, oh no, I just like it. I was like, okay. So I went searching for a pattern. I finally found it through Reddit, and I bought it from the person that created the pattern. And it was very easy. Now I have adapted it, so when you see the pattern, it's not exactly, and the way I adapted it is I put this half double crochet row in between. And why I like that is it makes it feel to me a little bit more stable, right? So I started making it. My sister wanted it in a pretty gray color, and as I was making it, or as I was buying the yarn for that one, I saw this really pretty lavender yarn, and I thought, ooh, my mom would like a shawl in that color. So for my mom, I did a different pattern. I made it up myself, and but I made it similar in the fact that it had pockets and fringe. And just so you know, I have a personal preference. I don't prefer fringe, but I don't mind making fringe for other people if that's what they want. So I decided to learn how to do that pattern that I bought. Then I made up a pattern, and the pattern I made up was very basic. It was a so at the bottom is this border. The border is 6 rows of half double crochet, and then starting here, I did just your regular like granny square spacing. I did 2 double crochets. That kind of gives the border a little bit of stability, and then I started making without the crossover. I just did squares across, and then I did a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, and then I did another row of the squares, and then in the middle of the lavender one, I did one of these rows just to make it a little bit different. And then when I finished it up on the other side, it was with this 6 rows of half double crochet. So very basic. So I'm going to show you a picture of the gray one, and I'm going to show you a picture of the lavender one. And then I made a third one for a friend. Oh, I forgot the crossover. There we go. And with hers is when I adapted this pattern so it had the row of half double crochet. So that is the story of these shawls. Now, another part of the story is I live in Hawaii. Here I am working with yarn and crocheting, and I live in Hawaii. So that means in the middle of winter here in Hawaii, which usually I don't have to run my air conditioner, but I had to run my air conditioner because I have yarn on my lap. Oh well, I really enjoyed this. And at the same time that I was creating these shawls, I also am an author. I just got motivated. Retirement will do that to you, folks. You get retired, you have all this free time. What am I going to do with this free time? And I when I was a kid, I read romance novels, Harlequin romances, all sorts of them. And finally, at 67 years old, I decided to write my own. But they're not quite Harlequin romances. And I'm publishing them on my own as well. So if you're interested in a different kind of romance novel, you can check me out at tjsweeneyauthor.com. So here we go. We'll do some more crocheting. Like I said, it's a straight up double crochet and then this sideways double crochet. Oh, just so you know, so the length of this is based on a person that's about 5 feet 5 inches. I'm 5 feet 4. And to get started, like the chain across, how many chains you have to chain across, it's 223. And so that's quite a counting job. I mark it with pins. And in a future video, I'll show you how I do that because I've got another one of these that I want to make. Y'all are funny with your comments. In my earlier videos, like I said, I made those for my niece who wanted to learn how to crochet. And so it was my niece, so I had bare feet. And just hanging out with my bare feet on my couch. And I had somebody comment to me that maybe I wanted to cover them up, so I had my slippers on. But, okay folks, this is a joke. But I was like, well, maybe some people want to watch my videos just for my bare feet. Get the views up that way. That's my sick humor, what can I say? Not like I'm going to start an OF channel and show off my feet. I figure I'm an old lady. They don't want to see that. So, what else can I tell you as far as like me, myself, and I? Like I said, I'm 37 this year. I've been crocheting since I was 10. What did I say? 37? I'm 67 this year. Okay, in my brain I'm 37. And I am actually 67 years old. And I've been crocheting since I was 10. Oh, how did I teach myself? Okay. You can also tell I'm not working with a script. I'm just doing all this off my head. So here's the story. Back in the day, before the internet, youngins, they had pamphlets and little booklets. And I think I bought this booklet like at a pattern supply or something. But or I inherited it somehow. I don't know. Somehow I got this booklet, How to Crochet. And it had all of the instructions as drawings. So that, you know, you could kind of follow along with the drawing. And that's how I did it. And I would, back in the day, this was, I was 10 years old in 1969, and I wanted to be a hippie at 10 years old, and at the time they were making granny square everything, so I learned how to make granny squares, and I made myself a granny square vest. I remember that vest. I wonder what happened to it. And I also learned how to make little baby booties. So I would crochet baby booties. When I got older, I found a pattern that I bought. I can show you a picture of it because I'm planning on doing another one of these projects. It's an Afghan, and I have made, I don't know how many of these Afghans. I make them for graduation and wedding gifts. And I still have the original pattern. That's why I want to show it to you. Maybe I'll insert a picture here. In the video so you can see it. But it's a simplicity pattern of an Afghan. I just thought the pattern was so pretty. And when I need a wedding gift or a graduation gift, that's what I plan to make. So let's see, what else can I tell you about me? I've been living in Hawaii over 30 years. And I'll tell you why I live in Hawaii. It's because I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. No shade to my Buffalo family, but I just do not like the cold. I have never liked the cold. I never learned how to adapt to it. After college, I moved south to Maryland thinking I'd get out of the cold. But guess what? They have winter in Maryland as well. So I finally, 30 some years ago, 32 I think, 32 years ago, I moved to Hawaii. And I have really enjoyed living here. A lot of folks ask me about the cost of living in Hawaii. So let me tell you about that. Yeah, it costs money to live in Hawaii, for sure. But for you folks who live in cold climates, how much does it cost to heat your house? How much does it cost to put snow tires on your car? How much does it cost to have coats, boots, scarves, gloves, jackets, layers? And then you got to put that stuff on and take that stuff off every time you go in and out. Yep, I pay for electricity here in Hawaii. Yep, it's far away from the mainland. It takes 5 hours on a plane just to get to the West Coast, to LA. But living in Hawaii, I didn't get married and I didn't raise a family. I don't have children. I have nieces and nephews whom I love, and I love having nieces and nephews. So for me, the cost of living has been just me, myself, and I. You're looking at my studio apartment where I live, and thankfully my studio apartment building I rent. I didn't buy. It includes my internet, so that's fun. I pay for, and the water's included too. So I pay for my electric bill, my rent, and then the rest of my expenses. Now, everybody says, oh, but the cost of milk and the cost of bread. Okay, I don't eat a lot of bread, so I don't have to worry about that. If I eat bread, it's bread that I've made. I like to make Irish soda bread, and I like to make cornbread. The cost of eggs doesn't bother me because I can't eat eggs anymore. Price of getting old. You start not being able to eat stuff you used to be able to eat. And I'm not a big milk drinker. I use like buttermilk to make my Irish soda bread, but I don't drink it. I just put it in the bread. Regular milk I don't usually eat. I do like to eat Greek yogurt. So I have to watch the price of that. And yes, the price of gas is outrageous, but thankfully I'm retired and I don't have to drive very far anymore. So, how are we doing? Oh, looking good. Yeah. There we go. And you know what makes it really good for a, this project is really good for a watch me work video, if you will, crochet with me video, is a row like this usually takes about, depending on what I'm doing, like if I'm watching something, versus right now I'm just listening to some music and talking to you folks. This is about 30 minutes a row, maybe less. We'll see once the video is done. I just really particularly wanted to show you this stitch because I just think it's fun. It's so different. So, all right, I'm gonna concentrate for a few stitches. Let's see what we got. Talking about cost of living in Hawaii, my air conditioner just cut off because I put it on a timer. I AC for like a half hour or an hour depending on the temperature, and then I let it just sit for a while, let the apartment get hotter, and then when it reaches a temperature that's uncomfortable for me, then I go ahead and turn the AC back on. So that's one way for me to control the cost. I'll tell you another way to control the cost is to not be here. I like to travel. I'm planning another trip soon. And while I'm gone, of course, my electric bill goes down. So that helps. But it's really not, I think our electric bill we're so electricity dependent here. The state of Hawaii is working on being right now we burn oil to make electricity, but we have been steadily decreasing our dependency on oil by building solar and wind across the islands, and we want to be oil off of oil by 2030. So we'll see if that happens, but it's encouraging to watch the bills go down, the electric bill go down as we get more or less and less dependent on oil. Let's put it that way. That's not a political statement. To me, that's an environmental statement. I like the idea that we are not burning oil for electric, or we're burning less oil for electric now. All this abundant sunshine here in Hawaii always surprised me how slowly solar was adapted, but it has been adapted for Hawaii, and we're working towards less oil dependence, and I'm very proud to say that. It just makes sense financially, especially with all the troubles going on. All right. So are you working on a project right now? If you are, why don't you let me know what kind of project you're working on in the comments. That's what it's looking like. It's looking pretty good. Also, I must tell you that this is the last row like this, and when I turn, I'm going to start making the 6 rows of double crochet to finish the main portion of this shawl. The next portion of the shawl is making the pockets and attaching them, and then making the fringe. So folks, depending on how much actual good footage I get of me, oh, we're almost at the end, good, of crocheting, if I have to edit this, At the end, I'll let you know exactly how long it took me to do this row. And as you can see, I'm just going at a pace. I'm not trying to speed crochet to the end. This is my normal working pace. So a little bit distracted, I must say, because I'm usually not talking out loud to a camera when I'm crocheting by myself. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I know what I was going to tell y'all. So, I not only do I work on the Afghan I was telling you about, and the shawl that I'm showing you right here, I have other projects I like to work on. My most favorite, I must say, is probably a baby blanket. I have a really fun, easy pattern that turns out very nice and doesn't take very long. So if you just want a quick win, we could go with a baby pattern, but a baby blanket. And I have a fun yarn that I bought, and I think I might make a baby blanket out of it. But that's for another day. And like I said, the patterns that I have, well, the Afghan pattern I have is an old Simplicity pattern. This pattern I bought through a vendor, so I will link that person because I want them to get the money for it. And then the baby blanket pattern is a free one, so when I show you that on a video, I will provide that pattern. That was like I said, a very easy way to get started with crocheting. So maybe once I'm finished with this project, I'll do a video about doing that baby blanket. I've made that, forgot to do that one. See, that happens, you get distracted. All right, there we go. Did I miss any others? Folks, I don't know how many times in my crocheting days that I have gotten distracted and had to pull stuff out. That's especially true when I'm working, when I'm making up a pattern. I'll try something for a row, and especially when it's something like this and there's 223 stitches across, and then I get to the end of the row and I'm like, nope, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to do it a different way, and I have to pull all that out and start over. But that's part of crocheting. You know, you experiment, try it, you look at it, you say, nope, I think I'll try something else. That's all part of the fun of it. I also find crocheting to be kind of zen, you know. I'm right here and staying in this moment. You know, you stay in the moment and then you don't miss the stuff. When you get distracted is when you do miss the stuff. So it's a practice. Or it's just a way to, you know, keep your hands busy and to keep yourself off a street corner, like my dad always said. Don't be hanging out on the street corners. Staying out of trouble. Because as you can tell, I am trouble. All right, there we go. Almost there, folks, almost there. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. This is fun. At least for me. I hope it's fun for you too. Just let me know in the comments. You know, that thing that they say, like, comment, and subscribe. Folks, did you know in order to monetize a YouTube channel, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view? At least that's the parameters as of May 2026. So that's why these folks are telling you to like and subscribe and comment for the YouTube algorithm. That's why. So if you feel like this is fun or valuable or a way to spend some time, please do so. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if not, that's okay too. Just hang out. I am not here to sell you anything. I just thought it'd be fun to hang out together. Maybe work a project together. Looking good, and that's how much we got left. All right, let's get her done. Okay, it looks like I got 2 more of this kind and then 2 double crochets at the end. Like I said, that I like that 2 double crochets at the end to stabilize, because you know that row, here we go, this is the last one with this configuration. Nope, that's the last one. Okay, there we go. 2 double crochets at the end, that stabilizes the end of the row. And this is where your fringe is going to hang from, so it's nice to have that extra stability there. There we go. That's the whole thing. There are 14 of these rows, and then I have double crochet in between. That's what that looks like. There we go. All right, thanks for hanging out, and I will hopefully hear from you. Tell me about your projects. Tell me about what's going on with you. And Oh, shoots. I had a really cute catchphrase for the end of my last video. Just thanks for crafting with TJ today.